Chronique des Mascareignes, la voix de l'océan Indien à Montréal. Joyce Veeramootoo.
Bonjour à tous et bienvenue à la Chronique des Mascareignes, la voix de l'océan Indien qui passe en version web. Yeah! Donc, la Chronique des Mascareignes a fait ses débuts sur les ondes du 102.3 FM et maintenant, on va se voir et pas juste s'écouter, mes chers téléspectateurs. Donc, je me présente Joyce Veeramootoo, votre animatrice. Donc aujourd'hui, la Chronique des Mascareignes va vous présenter une histoire qui m'a touchée et j'ai pensé que c'est vraiment important d'en parler et de partager cette histoire. Avant de commencer, j'aimerais remercier nos commanditaires, donc Monsieur Neil Madoub Pourmanand, conseiller financier, donc pour vos besoins de planification financière, si vous voulez acheter une maison, investir pour faire fructifier votre argent, donc vous pouvez rejoindre Monsieur Pourmanand au 514-663-1602 ainsi que DC COM MTL pour vos besoins de promotion, publicité, campagne sur les réseaux sociaux. Donc, DC COM MTL et l'agence pour vous. Donc, le meurtre de George Floyd, vous avez sûrement entendu parler, cette personne qui a été assassinée en pleine rue et qui a été filmée sur les réseaux sociaux. Donc, la force policière de Minneapolis a été suspendue, appréhendée et tout. Et plus récemment, Jacob Black, qui est maintenant paralysé après avoir reçu 7 balles dans le dos. Et ça, c'est à Kenosha, au Wisconsin. Donc, le mouvement Black Lives Matters, c'est pas seulement aux États-Unis, c'est aussi au Canada. Et ça amène plusieurs Canadiens à se poser des questions, à se questionner. Récemment, il y avait un article au niveau du gouvernement Legault que ça fonctionne pas, là. Qu'est-ce qu'ils sont en train de faire? Ça fonctionne pas. Donc, il y a vraiment des solutions à les trouver. Et voilà. Donc, au niveau d'un article, j'ai trouvé un article de la presse daté du 3 juin qui est intitulé « Des inégalités croissantes pour les Noirs au Canada selon une étude ». Je voulais un extrait là-dessus. Donc, être noir au Canada, selon une récente étude de Statistique Canada, c'est avoir un salaire plus bas de 26% en moyenne, être confronté à un taux de chômage bien plus élevé et être plus souvent victime de discrimination au travail. Être noir au Canada est encore synonyme d'appauvrissement et de discrimination et le gouffre s'est élargi en 2 décennies. Donc, ça ne s'améliore pas, ça s'empire. Donc, j'ai été approchée par Urvashi Oulodour et j'ai vraiment trouvé que c'était très important de vous faire part de cette histoire. C'est l'histoire de Arka Chakraborty, un jeune garçon de 12 ans qui serait apparemment suicidé selon la police de Toronto. Est-ce un crime haineux dissimulé? La question se pose. Donc, d'ailleurs, on va tout à l'heure entendre le témoignage de sa mère, Madame Durba Murkadji, accompagnée de ses amis témoins qui connaissaient bien Arka Chakraborty et qui ont de la difficulté à comprendre les circonstances entourant son décès. Selon un rapport de Statistique Canada maintenant, un rapport qui date de 2018, les forces policières canadiennes ont rapporté 1798 incidents criminels motivés par la haine au Canada. Ces mêmes statistiques démontrent aussi une diminution du nombre d'incidents motivés par la haine rapportés par la police entre 2017 et 2018. Cela veut dire que la police ne rapporte pas tous les cas d'incidents motivés par la haine auxquels ils sont témoins. Donc, ils vont témoigner d'incidents haineux et ils ne vont pas nécessairement faire un rapport de police. Donc, ça joue sur les statistiques. Et récemment, on a vu un article de Radio-Canada donc qui est daté du 15 juillet, qui mentionne que maintenant, les policiers vont nommer de quelle diversité l'incident haineux appartient. Donc, on va avoir peut-être des meilleures statistiques au niveau des communautés, mais est-ce que ça va changer quelque chose in the big picture? Donc, c'est à suivre. Donc, l'histoire d'Arka Chakraborty, ça peut être l'histoire de n'importe enfant nouvellement arrivé au Canada, un enfant de minorité visible. D'ailleurs, Arka venait d'arriver de l'Inde avec sa maman et ils avaient de la difficulté à s'intégrer au système canadien anglo-saxon qui est pas vraiment la même, ils n'ont pas les mêmes affinités, donc c'est difficile au niveau de l'intégration pour ces personnes, surtout une mère monoparentale. Donc, on vous laisse lire entre les lignes. Donc, Arka Chakraborty a été retrouvé mort par la police le 21 juin 2019 après avoir chuté d'un édifice de 24 étages. Nos invités aujourd'hui sont la maman d'Arka Chakraborty, Madame Durba Murkadji, et ses amis Madouja et Avi qui connaissaient Arka, le jeune garçon de 12 ans, et qui ont suivi l'histoire et toutes les péripéties avec l'école, avec la violence, les visites à l'hôpital. Donc, c'était terrible. Donc, si vous avez une histoire à raconter, n'hésitez pas à me faire signe. Vous pouvez m'écrire à chronique des mascareignes@gmail.com. Pour faciliter l'échange avec nos invités aujourd'hui, l'entrevue sera en anglais avec sous-titrage en français et l'entrevue sera suivie par une interlude musicale de nos artistes coup de cœur de la journée. Donc, il s'agit de Kilesh Bissesseur et Ruben Gopal de l'île Maurice. Donc, passons maintenant à l'entrevue avec qui vous raconte l'histoire d'Arka Chakraborty. Welcome to our very special guests, Durba Murkadji, mother of Arka, and her friends, Madouja and Avi. So, Madouja, we'll start with you. Tell us a little bit about Arka. Was he a happy child? How was your interaction with him?
For me, the fun is that he has a very, very funny, I would say, like very eclectic sense of humor. He used to make like always. I still remember. I still remember he made a joke with Durba and she put it on Facebook, and I think that was my last Facebook message to Durba. And I called him. So he has a pet name. We used to call him Pujai. So I was like, yeah, go tell him that I gave him a new name. I gave him a name as Pujai, the PJ King. Okay. And I still remember that was my last conversation with her on Facebook.
And yourself, Avi, you were involved with theater.
Yeah, so we are all theater and go ahead.
So one of the key memory I have with Arko, not only he was bright, I remember him, he was very caring. So what happens, we're a bunch of people who are amateurists and share the same enthusiasm and interest about theater, and we were doing rehearsal. Obviously, just like Durba, a few other parents also need to bring their kids, right? And Arko being one of the grown up among the kids. I saw him. He was particularly very caring about all the other kids who are coming there, and they're mostly 3 years or 4 years and 5 years old. And sometimes with the boys and girls who are at their early teenage, or maybe they're 11 and 12, they could not keep their patience. They could not hold their calmness when dealing with the toddlers and the infants. But I always found Orko was very patient, and he always made sure when the kids were there, so that they don't distract their parents while they're doing the rehearsal, so that he plays with them. And I also saw him trying to tell, not only trying to, he was actually telling stories to the kids so that they get engaged. So I find it very fascinating because, we see kids who are bright, who are intelligent, but I feel the values that Orko have inside him in terms of caring for the other people, that was wonderful. That was and Orko always shared how much he loved Canada, and those are the fond
in that
memories.
cold. I've never seen him complain. He was always so excited, and every time we talked to him, he was like bubbling, like this little. And he's a little guy, but he's always like he has such a big personality that in a room full of people, you cannot help but notice this guy.
So Durba, I'm going to take you back to the story of what happened to Arka. So you got a call from the Toronto police on June 21st. Can you tell us the story? I know it's difficult, but just take your time, and we want to really tell your story.
Yeah, thank you, Joyce. Yeah, it's difficult, but in past 1 year, I had to recollect this story so many times. Yeah.
So tell us, to who did you tell the story to? Police officials, politicians?
Yeah. First, let me start with that 21st June 2019 incident. Morning, my son went to school. I went to work. So by end of his school day, around 2:40 p.m., the vice principal gave me a call, and she told me that my son wanted to talk to me. She didn't let him do. And then she told me that June 19th, boy, he brought a Nintendo Switch to school and it went missing. She told me that my son took the console home. And on June 20th, my son brought that boy to my place just after school and handed it over to the boy.
Okay, so that's the day before he was found deceased.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, but on June 21st, so what I understood from her version that the console is no longer missing. But she told that she tried for long hours to get the confession of stealing from my son, but my son did not confess. Then she told that my son claimed that another boy who was bullying him for almost 8 months throughout this school year of grade 6, that boy actually gave him the Nintendo Switch on June 19th.
Okay, so for 8 months, this was reported to the school vice principal that the boy was being bullied. He even went to hospital.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So, but she did not believe my son. So after lots of threatening, I'm new immigrant. So that day, I mean, I regret this so much now that for a moment, she actually could shake my confidence. Generally, I'm not an inconfident person.
She was that intimidating. She was...
Yes. Mm-hmm. She scared me that my 12-year-old child will have a police case in his name and which he will have to carry throughout his life. And I'm a new immigrant. I do not know what will happen to my boy. I got very, very scared. And actually,
but these finally were idle threats because she never went to the police after, right? So she was just trying to intimidate you, right?
Yeah. And later I got to know from different lawyers that that day on June 21st, when the console was already with the owner, actually no charge could have been brought against my son's name. Scare me a lot. And then I came home Then I saw my son just came home. I asked him, and he told me the same story that he shared with the VP in school. Then I asked him, Babu, can I talk to your friend whose console was missing for a day, so that I can also tell him, I can also apologize on behalf of my son, so that my son's friend does not feel bad about my boy, because I thought they were friends. So when I called that boy, his father picked up. And his father also started accusing my son of theft, hacking, deleting loaded money, and whatnot. If my son accidentally deleted some loaded information, some downloaded games, or some $160 or $60, he told. Then I told, I will pay for all the damages. Please let me know how much I should pay. I will do that. But he kept on saying that the school tried for long hours to get the confession out of your child. Your child did not confess, and he will go to cops.
Wow.
So
that sounds like some kind of scary movie, and they were just trying to intimidate your child and you. And these people were white Canadian, or were they from cultural background?
Yes, they both are white.
White Canadian.
Yeah. Okay. To receive any email from the school that my son was accused of anything. I did not receive any email from the school that I have to pay for damages or you come to school.
Yeah, which is a like regular kind of procedure that a normal regular school would do. It would write the parent, there's an issue, or come and meet me, or on the phone.
No, my son off. Everything came verbal and only as a threat that by hook or by crook, my son has to accept that he is a thief. Okay, so after that, around 7 o'clock, my son went out of the apartment. He told me, Ma, I will call another boy. You can talk to him. He can also help.
So that's on June 21st, right?
Yeah, that evening. So he just went out because he told me I'll be back in 5 minutes. So I did not lock the door. I went to my bedroom and I was so stressed out. I think I dozed off for a while. So when I got up around 8:55 or so, I saw the room is dark and my son was not back. So when I came to my living room, I found a note in his notebook, which was not there when he left the apartment. When I found that note, there was something like, I have been a disappointment to you. I have not been very popular at school. No one will miss me if I'm gone. I panicked and immediately I called 911. And I came down to the lobby and I kept on checking with people if they have seen my son. So I think in 5 to 10 minutes, the police came and they asked me about his dresses and his appearance and everything, asked for his photo. After almost 1.5 hours or so, I don't remember exactly, a lot of policemen came to my apartment and immediately I showed them the notebook and immediately they took it. They did not ask me to sign any papers or anything. And at that point, I also did not think of, okay, I have to follow the procedure, whatever I'm handing over to them, I should keep a copy, etc. All these things did not come to my mind.
Exactly.
All I was thinking is that they should just find my boy alive.
Which is normal, absolutely normal. I mean, so, in a state. Yeah.
And they showed me in mobile some jacket photo, my son's spring jacket. They asked me whether it is my son's jacket. I told, yeah, possible, because my son has a same color jacket. Then after that, they showed me one CCTV still photo. So there I could see my son completely from head to toe. I told, yeah, this is my boy. Then the officer told me, are you sure this is your son? I told, yes, this is my son. Then he said, ma'am, you have to come with us to the sick kids hospital. I got scared. I was like, did my son meet with any accident? Then the officer told, ma'am, I will have to give you some more bad news. He didn't make it. And I fell down on the floor.
So you had a shock, for sure. I mean,
yeah, I could not even imagine that was Friday, and my son used to talk to his dad every weekend on Skype.
So when
I
he
was-
left at 7 o'clock, it was to go meet her friend. It was. Where
Yeah,
was he
now
going?
I felt that from the building he fell down.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, police around 7:42 they tweeted that a child fell from a balcony.
Mm.
But which balcony they don't know. But the building name address they mentioned. Later, police told me next day that my son fell down from the terrace,
Mm.
and they think he has jumped off. So in the CCTV footage, they found that my son was on the terrace. After that, he went out of the coverage of the camera.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no concrete evidence that my son indeed jumped off. And after some time, initially I did not have the courage to go close to that building. But later I went there along with my son's best friend's mother. And I saw that there's a pillar in the terrace. So it's a huge pillar. That's why right side of the terrace that is not under the coverage of the CCTV. That's why my son actually fell down from a blind spot. So we don't know what happened exactly there.
So the
Initially-
terrace, is it like the roof of the building?
Yeah, roof of the building,
Yeah.
but that building terrace, they have an adult swimming pool and an adult gym, and the terrace is a restricted terrace. So we have to swipe once more, not only in the lobby. And actually, when we went to the terrace, we had to wait for around 15 to 20 minutes, and nobody was opening the door to us.
So it was
So-
only the tenants of the building have access to that terrace, right?
Yeah, so I do not know how my son entered that building.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, he told that he kept on saying the boy who gave him the console, he was living in that building,
Okay.
in the top floor. And I don't know whether he really went there for that or not, which I don't know. I do not want to claim.
Exactly.
But I felt that most probably he went to talk to him so that he can make him he can convince him to write to school that he gave him the console and my son did not steal it.
So you sent me the story by chronological order, and you mentioned that the police never took your statement. Is that
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. So
That's-
June 21st, the first responders who came to my apartment, they were not the investigating officer, because later I met the investigating officer. First, I tried to call him at his desk number. He was not available. Then I wrote a couple of emails. He did not respond. Then I called police service and told them that I want to meet the officer. He asked me to come and meet. Initially, they were not
And he
letting
was
me.
on vacation and.
Yeah.
Mhm.
First week from the board number, I think they told that this week he's on vacation. Next week he will be in night shift. Yeah. So I was wondering. So they assigned a child's death investigation to an officer who, for the first week, he's on vacation and next week he's on night shift. How will he investigate then? Anyway, so on July 1st, Canada Day, his shift started from 11 p.m. So I went to meet the investigating officer in the police service at night 11 o'clock, along with another Bengali girl. And Joyce, to my shock, I'm very new to this country. I've never lived abroad. I have never been treated like this.
So he was cold. How was he like?
He did not have any empathy. He was so very insensitive. He did not even care to look at me when he talked to me. He almost did not even nod when I was talking. So I I kept on asking questions and he kept on ignoring whatever I was saying.
Point dans l'univers, seule est la ligne éclaire nous la terre. Un petit point au milieu de la mer, exploré par un colonisateur. Campagne portugais qui débarquait, tu trouves une bonne oiseau qui partit envolé. Ce beauté parti attirant, cela c'est bien nourrissant dans l'océan Indien, l'île Maurice. Cette population fine grandit ici, dans le petit pays réuni une seule famille. Massacré attire et non en l'avenir. Ici dans nos pays, nous non se souvenir.
L'oiseau de deux, ça fait évoluer en plein air. La soie t'y remplit dans cette rivière.
Chronique des Mascareignes, la voix de l'océan Indien à Montréal, présentée par Joyce Veeramootoo. La Chronique des Mascareignes est une émission découverte en hommage d'un groupe d'îles situé au milieu de l'océan Indien. Attachez vos ceintures pour nos découvertes musicales et actualités culturelles.
Je suis tombée amoureuse